Hey guys, it's Shelby, otherwise known as Shelbizleee here on YouTube, and today I wanted to share with you guys my best tips for how you can reduce your waste even if you don't have a bulk store near you. So if you're working towards zero waste and you find that food packaging is the biggest thing that's ending up in your trash can like it was for me, follow these tips and hopefully it will help you out. A lot of people are not lucky enough to have a bulk store. Although I am, sometimes I can't make it to the bulk store on the weekend. Sometimes I don't have the time to do it and I have to resort to buying some things in my grocery store. And I think the number one thing that helps me reduce my waste is eating a more plant-based diet. A lot of grocery stores, even the most basic, the most packaged of grocery stores, often have produce without packaging. So if you make your diet heavy in plant foods, then you're able to get more foods without packaging. It's also going to be a lot cheaper and a lot healthier for you. So start there. Along with that, I would say to stick to the parameters of your grocery store. Most of the things that are packaged and very processed are in the middle of your grocery store. Stop and think about it. Pretty much everything that's in the middle of your grocery store are man-made foods, and there are so many. At least if you live in the US. I'm not sure how it is in other parts of the world, but in the US, thousands of foods that are genetically modified and processed to be tasty, and also inevitably comes in a ton of packaging. So by prioritizing things on the outskirts, things like vegetables, things like fresh baked goods, then you're going to be able to prioritize things that are not in packaging. When you're searching for things that you do have to buy in packaging, prioritize things like paper, cardboard, and glass. Plastic is a really toxic thing. It's made of petrochemicals. If you didn't know that, it's literally made from oil, and it's also only able to be recycled a time or two before it inevitably ends up as waste anyway. So you want to avoid plastic as much as possible. So if there is a pasta that comes in a plastic bag and a pasta that comes in a cardboard box, pick the cardboard box, not the plastic one. Same thing goes for if you're buying things like sauces. If there's a sauce that comes in a plastic packaging and you can opt for a glass one, go with glass, because glass is recyclable an infinite amount of times. You can literally turn a glass jar into another glass jar an infinite amount of times, but the same cannot be said, like I said, for plastic. This one might be a gimme, but don't forget your grocery bags. I have one grocery bag that a subscriber gave to me that I love so much. It's by a brand called Chico, and I'll link it in the description, because honestly, even though these are made from recycled, I think it's nylon, they have saved a ton of plastic for me. It folds up small enough to where I can keep it on my key ring, and that just makes everything so easy. If I do drop into a store one day, I don't even have to worry about it. It's already right there. So always have your bags on you in your car or wherever you typically go grocery shopping. Maybe like Madison recently got me a handmade basket from Africa, and I keep a lot of my produce bags in there so that I can just take that with me whenever we go shopping. Maybe you can make something like that of a habit for you, because I think that's the biggest thing, is getting into a routine. And when you get off of your routine, it's a little bit harder. But if you have a place where all of your grocery bags are, and it's something that you always think about before you go to the store, that alone can help you avoid a ton of plastic. The next thing you can do to reduce your packaging is, when you are buying something in packaging, buy it in a larger quantity. So if you're buying something like we were talking about pasta. Pasta is near and dear to my heart, you guys. But basically, when you're buying pasta, don't just buy like a couple servings that come in little boxes like this. If you can buy a bigger package, that ends up being a lot less packaging than multiple little ones. So buy it in bulk if you know you're gonna go through it. Like if you're buying rice, that's something you buy consistently, buy it in one of those big bags. You'll also save a lot of money, and you'll save a lot of packaging that way too. The next thing to keep in mind while you're doing all of this is to cook more. By prepping your food at home, you're not going to be tempted to go out and eat and get something that might come in plastic packaging, and if you're prepping at home, you're also going to save a lot of money. So fall in love with your kitchen, try to cook a lot more, experiment with new recipes. Follow me on Pinterest for some of those really good plant-based vegan recipes that I have been pinning recently, and just get creative. Have fun with it, try new things. It'll also be a lot healthier because you will be able to see exactly what's going into your food, and like I said, it will avoid a lot of packaging for you. And the last tip I have, the one that I will be implementing into my life most recently, is grow your own food. So I just recently, after almost 2 years, finally got into my community garden, and I will be having videos about that coming up as soon as I get things growing, you know, get things growing. You'll be seeing that. But I will start growing things like butter lettuce, because previously I haven't been able to find that without packaging. but I love it. I put it on almost everything I eat, burgers, tacos, salads, everything. I love it. But it always comes in a plastic clamshell, so I'm gonna start growing it myself. Now, maybe not everybody has access to something like this. If you live in an apartment, I understand, but there are even small things that you could grow in your home. So if mint or basil is something that you consume a lot and it's coming in plastic for you, try growing it yourself. You may kill it, and that will be okay. At least you tried. It can be a learning experience. I have killed plenty of basil plants in my day, sadly, so hopefully this community garden thing goes okay. But give it a try. Other things that are easy to grow inside, I've heard, are strawberries and potatoes. You can even grow some of those. Any sort of herb like we were talking about, things like that. Growing your food can not only be a way to reduce your waste, but it can also be an awesome learning experience and a way to get more connected with the earth and see like how life happens. It's like the most basic form of life. I just think that's so cool. I'm very excited to get into my community garden. But anyway, you guys, I hope this was really helpful. I hope that you learned something new, or maybe it got you to start thinking and stop just putting off reducing your waste because you don't have a bulk store. I'm sure that can be really frustrating, but there are changes you can make every single day, as small as they may seem. They add up to a lot when you become a conscious consumer. So keep that in mind, and thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and share with anyone who you think needs to know this, who don't already know this, and you want to help them reduce their waste. We'll work together and we'll make it happen. So remember, until next time, create the peace.